Hi all, good evening, good morning. Welcome to joining this session. Today we're going to talk about how we can handle files in Python. Okay, so agenda for today's discussion will be why we need file handling. So what are the different types of file we can handling? What are the different operations we can perform? And what are the different file handling system mechanisms available in Python programming? At the last, we talk about some of the hands-on. So we can process both the text file as well as binary file. So there are two types of file. So one is for text file, normal text. Next is a binary file. So how we can handle those two types of file in Python. Fine. So we will jump into actual things. So first of all, why we need a Python file handling in Python programming. Suppose I want to pass inputs to the program. Previously, so what we can do, right? So we have to hard code those values in the program level. So if you want to hard code, if you want to change in the future, again you have to go and modify your code, right? Modify your program. If you modify the code, again you have to remigrate to the production environment. So that is a tedious job. That is a very hectic job also, right? To change the value at runtime. Okay, instead of hard coding data or the input value at program level, so there are two ways. So I can pass it as a inputs to the program in the two ways. One is for at runtime. When we execute the program, it will ask you to the programmer to enter the value. That is one way. The next method will be we can store all your data, all your inputs into external file. External means outside the Python program. So that file I can pass it as an input to my Python program. So this is what why we need a file handling. Suppose in future if you want to change any value, I can go and change the file. So instead of modifying the Python program, I can go and change the value in the input file. I can pass it as an argument to the Python program. So that time I no need to do any code remigrations and anything on it. Only I have to do how to change my input file. That's it. Whatever file I'm using in my Python program. So that's the main use. We need to incorporate the file handling mechanisms in Python. So next we'll talk about what are the different files are available. Normally in Windows, right? So we'll have a different types of files. So we have a text file, we have a something called audio file, image file, some of the exe file. Lot of file system available in Windows operating system. Same thing for Linux, Mac OS, for different operating system. When you come to Python, we have two types of file. One is for text file, like this is a text file. Next will be binary file. So apart from text file, image, executable, audio file, everything we are considering as a binary file in Python programming. So these two are two types of files in Python. So one is a text file, next one is a binary file. Okay, next is what is file handling. So the question is which file will include in binary file. Suppose if I want to process the image file in Python. So image file, audio file, all those IMG, PNG file, JPEG, all those files we are considering as binary files in Python. So what is binary? We have a zeros and ones. So what the Python will do, right? It will convert those image files into zeros and ones and then it will process it. So that is called the binary file. So in our previous slide, so these are two types of files. So one is a text file, binary file, right? In the left hand side, we have image file, audio file, executable file, except the text one, everything we're considering as binary file. Okay, when you talk about hands-on, right? So that time I will walk you through both text file as well as binary file. How we can process the text file, how we can process the binary file. Now it's clear. So basically Python will handle two types of file. One is for text file, maybe normal log file or any tabular format data, any other input file we are processing, that we are calling as a text file. Normal text, right? Maybe normal English letters. Apart from this English letters, so if there is anything called image file or audio file or executable file or .exe file, all other file we are considering as binary file in Python. Fine. Okay, good. Okay, let's move. What is file handling? So file handling is important part of any of the web application. Suppose I'm preparing some web app applications, maybe the front end or something, right? So here file handling is very much important. Okay, so what are the different operations we can perform? So we can perform this CRUD operations. Maybe you guys know already what is a CRUD. CRUD means create the file, read the file. So once you create it, we need to extract the data and then we need to update. Suppose if you want to modify, if you want to do any changes, we have to go and update the file. Like update is nothing but append and delete the file. So basically we can perform this CRUD operations in any of the web publications, right? So next is in Python how we can handle the file handling system. Okay, in Python we have to use a method called, we have to use a function called, there is open functions. So by using this, open is a keyword, is the functions. By using these functions we can open the external files, whatever the .txt file, .binary file, anything, all the files, right? But if we want to read it, first of all we have to open the file. So when you're going to create a file, suppose create or open anything, right? So we have to use a function called open function. So open will have a two arguments. The first argument is name of the file. Second argument is mode. Okay, which mode do you want to perform the operations? So we'll talk about mode in detail. So we have a read mode, write mode, append mode. Yeah, there are three modes. So by default, the mode is the optional part. Okay, suppose if you're giving any mode as an argument, so which one will consider? The Python will consider read as a default mode. Read means only read only operation we can perform. This is a syntax for opening the file. So we have to open. First argument is a file name. It is a mandatory. Second argument is optional. It's a mode of the file. We'll talk about, right? Open bracket, file name, the first argument. Second argument is a mode. So we talk about different modes. Okay, there are four different modes. Read is a default one. Append, suppose if the file is already exist, if you want to add any content to the file, we have to perform the append operations. Write is, it will go and create the file. Suppose if the file is not there, it will go and create it. Suppose file is already available, overwrite the file content. So we need very much careful if we use the write operations. Okay, next is x and w. X is same as for to create the specified file, and suppose the file is already there, file is already available, what will happen is it will return the error message. Okay, saying that file is already available, you can't able to create it. So basically we can perform these four operations, four different modes in Python: read, append, write, and create. So, and along with this mode, we have to give this what types of file it is. There are two types of file we talk about it: the text file, and B means binary file. Suppose if you are giving, suppose I'm giving RT. RT means reading the text file. RB means reading the binary file. So if you're not giving any after this mode, right, I'm not giving any value. So by default, Python will consider as text file. If you want to process, if you want to read the binary file, we need to explicitly mention, we have to give RB operation. What I'm trying to say here is, you have two types of file: binary file and text file. So text file, we need to use a T operations, T keyword, T letters. T is a default one. And if you want to read any binary file, binary mode, we have to give the B options. Okay, let's see. So here, what I'm doing here is, I'm trying to open the file. So F is a file pointer. Okay, what I'm doing is, I'm just opening the file, the demo file .txt. So this is same as the second example. Suppose if you see it here, file pointer equal to open method, file name, comma, second argument is read one. So read is a default one. So that's why in the first example, I'm not giving any options here. So we can explicitly mention with the or, otherwise we can ignore it. So both are same. So when you perform read operations, we need to make sure that file is available in the particular location or not. If the file is not available, so we can't able to read it properly, right? So it will throw the error message. We need to ensure that if you want to perform, if you want to open the file should be present in the particular locations. So here the file name only you're giving, right? So where is the path? The location of the file. So if you're giving only file name, if you're not mentioning file locations, so what will happen is, wherever your program is available, in the same place only we need to place a text file. The program file and text file, if both are in the same locations, we no need to mention the locations here. So otherwise we have to mention the location explicitly. Clear, guys? So here path is not mandatory. If you're not giving path, by default your program file and text file both are in same location. Okay, like this we can open the file. So next we'll talk about how we can read the file. So once we open the file with the R mode, so next there is a function called file pointer dot read is a functions. So this function what will do, right? The function will read complete data from the file. Suppose if the file is contained almost 10 lines, so it will read all the 10 lines and it will print it. So basically the read is a functions to read the complete content from my input file. Let's take an example. Suppose here I want to process only the first 5 characters. So the argument of the read will be optional one. If you're not giving any arguments, by default that will be the complete file. Okay. Okay, let me take annotator so that it will be easy. Suppose if you see this one, the 5, right? So what is a 5? So 5 indicates it is going to read the first 5 character from the file. Only the first 5 character. The remaining everything will get ignored. So if you're not passing any argument to the functions, the read functions, so by default it will read the complete file content. Clear? So read is a functions. By using read functions, we can able to read the file content. So next is I want to process only the first line alone. Suppose my file is contain almost 10 lines. So but I want to read only the first line or read some particular line. Okay, or read multiple lines. Okay, for that we have to use a function called read line functions. Read line means it will read line by line. Suppose if you want to process first 3 lines, so what we do, we have to give the read line for 3 times. Read line, again read line, again read line. We have to give the read line function. We have to call the read line function for 3 times. So it means it will go and process read first 3 line from the file. So if you want to process some particular line, third line alone, so we have to mention the corresponding argument to the read line functions. So next is looping over the file. Suppose if your file is huge file, the file content is huge, what will happen? You will have some performance issue, right? You are reading all the files at a time. So instead of that, I can loop through the file. So I can read line by line. So that's what the best way to extract the files in Python. Okay, if it's a read line, the complete data will get read from the source. It will perform memory operations and then will get print on the output terminal. So that is some tedious process, right? So instead of that, we have a function called, there is a function we can loop through the files. Let's see how we can loop through the file content. So we are opening the file with the R mode. Again, in the file for loop. So maybe you guys already aware of the for loop control statement. What the for loop will do, right? It will read line by line. So whatever the file pointer will have it, all the lines it will read one by one. So like this we can loop through the file content. So it means I'm not reading all the file at a time, reading line by line and printing in my output screen, in my output terminal. Next we'll talk about how we can create a file. So writing means from Python program into external file. Read means external file into Python program. For that we have to use a function called write functions. Okay, basically before that, so when you're going to perform write operations, you have to open the file with these two modes, A mode or W mode. A means append the data at the end of the file. W means it will overwrite the file. Suppose the file is not there, it will go and create it. If file is already there, it will get overwrite the file. So that's, we need to very much careful when you perform this write operation. This is very much important. Otherwise, you will lose your data content. Your data will get lost. Okay, that's what here this pointer will be. So this method will overwrite the entire file. Okay, you should be very careful to use this write operations. So append is simple. Always it will go on add the content at the end of the file. It will keep on adding at end of the file. If you write the content, we have to use these two methods when opening the file, and then we have to use a function called write functions. So what I want to write, whatever arguments I am passing on to my write functions for this file pointer. What is file pointer? Demo file.txt. What operations? Append operations. Basically, we love Edureka content will get appended to my existing file. So here what will happen? In the second example, what will do, right? It will overwrite the file content. Whatever is already there, if you have new content here, the old content will get lost. Okay, that is for the write operations. Append is adding the content at the end of the file. Write is override file content. The file is not there, it will go and create it. File is already available, it will override the file. Okay, next example is let's see. Okay, you are going to create a file. So let's say I'm just opening the file with the right content. I'm writing these 2 lines. Next is, once we write the operations, we have to close the file. Otherwise, the content, it won't get saved to the file. We are writing it, but we are not committing it. But when you talk about database terminology, if you do any DML operations, we have to commit it, right? We have to perform the commit operations. Same thing in Python also. If you are writing or creating any files, we have to close it. If once we close it, then only the content will get saved to the file. The other user, maybe the outside of Python program, they can able to see the file content. So the close is very much important. Okay, the close means we are closing the file. After we perform all the operations, we have to close it. So once you close it, the content will get saved. Okay, this is for a small line of code to creating the file and writing the content to the file. Okay, we talk about 3 things: reading the file, writing the file. Under writing, we have 2 operations: append and override, A and W. And then finally we have to close the file. For reading, the closing is not important, because we are, for read operation, we are just to do only for reading the file content, right? We are not modifying any file content. For write, definitely you have to close the file. Next, we'll talk about structured learning at Edureka. So how the program structure, how the course outline for this Python certifications. So actually we have almost 8 modules, 8 to 9 modules in Python certification program. So module 1, we are going to have the introduction to Python. So as part of introduction to Python, you will get all the introduction about Python programming, like what is operators, control structure, looping operations, and all those things we can able to understand in introduction to Python program. Followed by, we have hands-on, because in the same live instructor session itself, we are going to have the hands-on, like we'll get all the answer about the concept 1. So module 2 will be sequence and file operations. So what is the data structures in Python, and what are the file operation we talk about now, right? For all the concepts, and we are, along with that, we have the lot of other concepts in file handling that also we are covering in module 2. We have answer also for, so each and every module we are having the answer. Okay, module 3 will have a OOPS concept, and what is the functions, and how do we create the user defined functions, what are predefined functions are available in Python, how we can process, how we can create your user defined functions, and also OOPS concept. How do we create a class, objects, what is inheritance, polymorphisms, all the OOPS concept we are discussing in module 3. In module 4, we are having the modules and packages. So how we can create what is a module, and how do we create your user defined modules, and what are the different types of predefined modules are available. We have a OS module, sys module. So Python is providing a lot of predefined modules, or we can process, or we can use those modules in our programming. So, and also we're talking about exception handling. Is for any programming, exception handling is very much important. Otherwise your program not handle those errors. In module 5, we are talking about data analysis concept, like how we can process, how we can perform the array operations in Python by using NumPy package. So NumPy is nothing but numerical Python. So next we are talking about data manipulations using Python, how we can manipulate, how we can analyze your data set, how we can read the CSV file in Python programming, and what are the different analysis we can perform. Okay, what are the different in data science and machine learning terminology we used to call EDA. So what is EDA? Exploratory data analysis. So how we can perform the descriptive analytics analysis in Python by using pandas package. So how we can create a series, how we can create data frame. So what is a data frame? It is a tabular structure of the data, and what are the different operations we can perform in series and data frame. All the concepts it will cover as part of this module 6. In module 7, we are going to talk about the data visualizations. So how we can present your data in the graphical format. Definitely, suppose if the user is seeing the data in the tabular format, the same data if you're seeing in the graphical format, the graphical format will be very easy understanding, and also we can easily get some insights about it, right? So for that we are using some of the predefined packages that is called matplotlib, and also we are talking about the 𝐶born library. So there are a lot of other libraries, but we are talking about matplotlib and 𝐶born library. Okay, and then we are having the GUI programming. So how we can create your graphical user interface program by using IPython widget. How we can create buttons, how we can create our front end page, all those things we are covering as part of this GUI programming. So along with that we have a self-paced program, so that is called module 9 and 10. So we have web map, how we can process the web map, and how we can plot it, and how we can create, how we can perform your OpenCV, how we can process the image processing by using some of the predefined package, how we can visualize those data set. So basically the module 9 and 10 will be self-paced course. Okay, these are some of the outline in Python certification training course, training program. Okay, next we'll talk about, let's see how do we create a new file. Simply we'll talk about open method. So we already talk about, right, how we can create a files. For open we have to use the method x. There are three parameter. If you pass the x, the file should be there. Okay, it will go and create a file, but what the read will do, it will, file is already available. So by using these three parameter x, a and w, by using this three parameter we can able to create a file in Python. So once we create a file, the file is not required for going forward. So for that we have to go and delete the file, right? So for that we have to use the predefined module called OS module. OS is one of the module. So we have to import the module. We have to use this package, OS package. Under this there is a function called remove functions. So remove is the functions. It is going to remove or delete the file in Python. Whatever the file you created, that file, if you don't want it, by using the remove function we can able to remove it. Same thing, if you want to remove the directory, we have to use a function called rmdir. So this will go and delete the folder. Okay, fine. For only for deleting we need to use this external package. Okay, this package will come as part of our Python programming. Okay, so Python software, sorry, as part of Python software, this package also will get installed. We don't need to install any external packaging or any external module separately. So this will come as part of your Python programming. Okay, next is we need to, suppose if you remove the file, right? So we need to ensure that the file is already available. Suppose file is not available, if you're going to remove the file, it will throw the error message, right? So for that OS module itself, there is a function called path.exist. This is what will do, right? It will go and check the file is exist or not. If the file is exist, go and execute this true block. Otherwise, go and execute this file does not exist. Okay, fine. Next, we'll talk about the hands-on. Okay, as I told you, we can open the file. So basically, we can perform this file operation, right? Open, read, write, append, and close the file. For closing file is very much important for write and append operations. Otherwise, what will happen is the content, it won't get saved to the output file. So here what I'm doing is I'm just opening the file. So both are same, because here my Jupyter notebook, wherever my Python code, right? My Python code plus text file, both are the same locations. I can explicitly mention the path also. Okay, under this folder, my file is available. Okay, I'm going to Python scripts, Python training module 4, right? Okay, what is the code path? Okay, file handling documents training 04 modules. Okay, 04 modules. So see this is my input file. So this is my text file. So under the text file, I will have some of the data. Okay, some of the employee name. Okay, some of the employee name. So basically I'm going to process this file into my program. Okay, let me save it. So I'm just opening the file. Next, what I'm doing is, okay, let me run it. Okay, this is not required. Okay, just open the file. Next, what I'm doing is I'm just to open the file with the read operations explicitly, perform the read functions. So this what will do, right? This will read the complete file. So as of now, how many records in the file? There are four records, right? The complete data will get read from the file. Okay, for that we have to the function called read functions. So read of 10, what will happen is a read of 10 or 5. This will read only the first 5 character. Maybe whatever the number we are passing, it will go and read only those number of character. If we pass a 10, it will read first 10 character. Okay, there is a space also after this. This is a 9 character plus space. Next is the read line functions. So what the read line will do? This will read the complete line. Only one line it will get read it. So if you see the file, this is the number of lines, right? Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. So if you want to read the first 2 line, I have to give 2 times. So let's say I'm just giving only 1 time read line, reading only once. One more time, it will be the second line also. So for that, if you have to use the read line functions. Suppose if you want to mention some line number at the function arguments, okay, read lines, sorry. Next is, okay, fine. This is pandas and all not required. Okay. Next we talk about looping operation, right? So next is I want to loop through the file. So what I'm doing is I'm reading the file and storing into file pointer. Next, I'm reading line by line and printing row by row. So this is also same as read. Okay, what will happen is instead of reading all the files, I'm reading line by line and perform looping operations. Next is close the file. Once you process it, I'm closing it. So next we'll talk about write operations. Okay, here we have a text file, right? I'm going to append it. The file is already available. I'm going to add the content. Okay, let's see, as of now the file is having only 4 lines, right? I'm going to add this training team. Okay, maybe Edureka something. Okay, I'm just adding this one. Control enter. See this? Along with that, the new content got read. Okay, I'm just adding it and closing it. Again, I'm reading the same file. So previously my file is having only 4 lines. The new data will get added and appended to the end of the file. Next, let's see. Suppose this is my file. Let's see, test1 file is there in my locations. Yes, it's there. I'm just deleting it. Okay. First, the file is already, it's not there. What will happen is it will go and create it. Okay. And writing this content. Again, I'm reading the file. Okay. Let's see my test1 file. It is having all other content. Okay. Let's see my test1 file. We'll have this content as of now. Okay. Next, what I'm doing is I'm running the program one more time. Let's see, I'm running it. If you go and check the file now, test1, see this, the previous content will get deleted. So we need to be very careful if it's the write operations. Write operation, what it will do is it will overwrite the file. Whatever file content already there, it will get overwritten. So now we got a difference between A and W, right? CA means adding at the end of the file. W means overwrite the file. Okay. Next is very much important. We talk about this is write T. Okay, or T. This T means not required. Okay, T means text file. I can ignore it. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to process the binary file. So what is the binary file? It is a JPEG file. So there is a JPEG image file. I want to process it. I want to read it. I'm going to create a new file. So this is my tiger image is my input file. Read it, and I'm going to read it and write into the new file. Okay, let's say tiger image. Okay, this is my input file. Okay, let me open it. It will have tiger image. It's an image file, just to any of the image. Okay, any image. Okay. Okay, as of now, this is not there. Okay, I'm just deleting it. Tiger right, I'm just deleting it. So what I'm doing is I'm reading this binary file and writing the new binary file. Tiger right of new something. Okay, let's see. Same read operations, reading the input file, fread, and writing into new file. So once you write it, I'm closing for both the files. So then only the other user they can able to see the file content. So this got executed. In my locations, I can able to see this file tiger right underscore new. It just now got created 7/13/2022 8:49. If you go and see it, the same content. So whatever the tiger image, right? We are reading and writing the binary file. There's something about how we can process the binary file in Python. So for that, we have to use a mode called B mode. B means binary, T means text file. This is pretty much about the hands-on, guys. Thank you, guys. Happy learning.